Well, this has been a long time coming. We started this project January of 2017. It is February of 2018 as of recording this, and odds are this is probably around the time that you start seeing this popping up. I had thought this project was long since cancelled, but everyone else involved wanted to keep it going, and here we are, the Bitch Squad video. Please note, yes, we are aware the video is long since been deleted, and the people involved no longer do commentaries. But of course, at this moment in time, it is not just a video pointed at Missy and Fried Soup, I think is their name. They were seizure-inducing blob when we started. Other people can learn from what they had screwed up on, and it's nice to get it out there. Of course, that said, since this is over a year in the making, do not go and harass Missy or Fried Soup. Do not go, finding them and giving them hell for anything that they had said in this video, because they might not still stand behind it. I want to put that out there. And Missy and Fried Soup, if you guys happen to stumble across this this video, a lot of the potshots that we make are just potshots. They're just jokes. We don't mean any malice towards you guys. Anyway, regardless, whoever is watching this at this moment in time, enjoy the video. Ladies and gentlemen, today's bot commentary will be on Missy R and Fried Soup, people who primarily do art-based videos. Speed draws, animation memes, what you typically expect out of a channel like this. Well, they decided to do a commentary on Ben the Looney, asking the simple question of what's actually the issue with nudity, and to put it bluntly, that's why Ponder Sprocket, Blazin' Rants, Scarlet Otaku, and myself are here. Let's begin.
This is one of the worst fucking videos I've ever seen in my life. Like, no joke. No joke. I fucking hate this video. I literally dry heaved when I first saw this, and I want to desperately rip this fucking video another asshole, okay?
Wow. You said everything I thought about the video in one concise swoop. Nice.
That's what happens when you present a sound argument for a controversial topic. People want to throw their fifis in the mix to attempt to make themselves more interesting.
So I did what any sensible friend would do and showed my friend Missy this. And both of us hated it, and both of us wanted to do commentaries on it.
Boy, I sure do love you not introducing either yourself or Missy to the video. That sure is great. Like, seriously, you mentioned Missy's name, but that's not really an introduction now, is it? And who the fuck are you?
So, here you go. Let's just get this shit going.
I love awkward pauses.
Okay, so I want to get this off my chest since this is fucking annoying me. What the hell is this? Like, I get what you're trying to do. It's the manga trope of an anchor character, but Missy does this better than you. Look at the comparison here. She has her shade of purple at least fade and centered in the right spot, but you? It's all lopsided and doesn't even fall in line with the character's face. Learn how to manga, please.
Hey folks, Ben the Looney here. Sadly, I don't have a new episode Daisy and Dexter for you. I ran into writer's block and I can't come up with enough funny plots to keep it going every week. Never you worry, I'm gonna be developing a new cartoon,
writer's
one I
block
have
often
plenty of ideas
translates
for.
to, I
So
have
be on the lookout
ideas,
for that.
but I'm far
But
too lazy
don't
to
worry,
do them.
Daisy and
Instead,
Dexter
I'd
will
rather
be back
play
later.
games and jerk
In
off,
the
but
meantime,
I
enjoy the
digress.
speech.
Because oversaturation of ideas doesn't happen to artists. Nope. Not at all.
Okay, this is going to be a reoccurring thing with this video, but you'll notice all of their interjections are some form of audio duct, be it damn near muting Ben's point so they can speak over him, pause this video for a smidge so they can talk, one of the better ways to do it, or slow it down when they want to audio duct over a small point. Now, I won't say the issue arises from the fact that they're audio ducting, but I can take the name from Akroloth's video on me. This is legit the curse of the audio ducula. You're ignoring what's being said for the sake of your point being audio ducted. Ben was saying here that he had ideas. Yes, he has tons of ideas for a separate fucking project. Viewers, keep in mind, this will be a problem throughout the video.
You know, Ben the Looney commentary, "What's the problem with nudity?" often translates to, "We're going to constantly miss the point of what you're arguing or else talk over you to pretend like what you're saying is offensive," but I digress. This is especially exemplified by the fact that you're talking over him explaining that he has a lot more ideas for other series he wants to work on, so he's shifting his artistic focus to that.
Hey folks, Ben the Looney here. Sadly, I don't have a new episode Daisy and Dexter for you. I ran into writer's block and I can't come up with enough funny plots to keep it going every week. Never you worry, I'm going to be developing a new cartoon, one that I have plenty of ideas for, so be on the lookout for that.
If you had any experience with writing at all, which according to your behavior towards it you clearly don't, you'd clearly understand that in order to write properly, you need to be in the right situation and the right mood to be able to convey a message. Otherwise your stories basically amount to see Jane run, see Jane play, see Jane
Enjoy these speed draw videos where I talk about random topics. Well, recently, an artist friend of mine got his Tumblr taken down because a bunch of prudes were complaining about all the drawings of new characters he had on his page.
Can you explain more about the situation? Like, did your friend draw, like, legal cartoon porn, child porn, or was it just really bad and people called him out on it, though? Like, I'd rather know what the situation is.
His friend got his Tumblr taken down for nudes to end. It's actually a fairly common problem on most websites that aren't very nude-oriented. It more or less depends on which random fucker stumbles upon your page and deems it offensive enough to their own personal sensibilities to report the page. That's the internet, sweetie. End of the furry tales.
Oh yeah, sure, I hear ya. He should specify, shouldn't he?
Wait for it.
And I myself recently had trouble with some people calling me every name in the book just because I made a few drawings of cartoon characters who I made sure were adults.
Of course you got called every name in the fucking book, man. You're over there making shitty porn of kids shows and claiming you're respecting the female body, man. That's fucking creepy.
Ew! Someone is drawing nudity on the internet? I am so just gonna rant about why that is perverse and disgusting.
Because you made art of something that I don't like, you should expect to get called names. That's how this works.
And he's drawing adult characters from kids' cartoons like this? What a freak!
You can't draw porn of people and still have respect for the female form. Who do you think you are, the painter of Les Demoiselles d'Avignon?
Fucking Picasso!
Thanks, random cunt who obviously doesn't get the overall message of Ben's video. Thank you for bringing nothing to the table and continue to ignore Ben's overall message. We clearly needed you here.
You're welcome!
He just said that he made sure his characters were of age when drawing them like that. Here's the thing about fetish art that involves already existing characters from a particular franchise. If they draw the characters to be of age and draw them in their fictional context, then why the fuck should it matter? First of all, the characters aren't real. Second of all, even if they were, that still doesn't change the fact that it's a fictional idea. Nobody's gonna go fuck Pearl or some shit like that just because they saw a fetishized picture of it. Nobody's gonna fuck ponies just because they saw a fetishized picture of it. Nobody can physically attempt vor just because there's art of it. If anything, I'd argue that drawing fetish art like this in a purely fictional and imaginative setting is healthy for both the artist and the viewers. It gives them an outlet to let some stress go without involving anyone else. And as long as they're minding their own business, getting their rocks off in the privacy of their own home, then why the fuck should it even matter to you? Really, the only weirdos in this situation are people like you, who actively seek out artists like these, and automatically feel they should get all up in arms publicly and appeal to an audience whose sexual tastes are just as bland, boring, and uninteresting as yours. Get off your fucking high horse acting like artists like these deserve this kind of crap. They literally did nothing to you.
All this has caused me to ask myself, what's the problem with nudity? What is it about nude bodies that cause some people to get triggered and offended? Granted, if some people may
Bravo, bravo. You're using a fucking word that's meant to be used for people with PTSD and other mental illnesses and shit, just to describe people who think your content is ass. I am so fucking disappointed.
I am disappointed also as well, especially for blatantly interrupting him in the middle of his fucking point.
Granted, if some people make drawings of underage cartoon characters, that's one thing. But if some characters are confirmed to be adults, what's the big deal? Guess it goes back to society. I'm American, and over here, people get their panties in a bunch over nudity.
There it is. What a shock! The loudmouth with a hat only had to wait another minute before Ben specified the distinction between drawing porn of age characters and minors!
See how beautiful life can be if you put down the pink megaphone and listen first? Yeah, I'm going there. You made me do this.
You know, I love it when people go with the whole, I'm American so I can do what I want defense. He conveniently ignores the fact that nearly every other country in the world also has standards of decency.
What the fuck are you talking about? How on earth do you get that out of him saying that Americans are prudish? He's objectively stating that he feels like he can't do what he wants, in this case, draw porn, because the environment he grew up in, America, is fervently against the notion.
And he's not wrong. In America, we're constantly given the idea that nude women, or just being nude in general, is nothing but an indecent state of being. Granted, it isn't as oppressed as some other countries, but it's not as open about nudity in general. Ugh. I just used the word oppressed. I feel triggered now.
As far as standards of decency go, almost every country in existence has such varying standards based on the people, so you can't possibly make this argument. Hell, the legal age of consent in Japan is 13. The general Japanese population are far more open to their own sexuality than most countries. And this might be off-topic trivia here, but you know what that openness has done? You think it's made people want to violently fuck all the vending machines selling used panties? Those exist, by the way. No! In fact, the opposite happened. Go fucking figure. It's almost as if treating sex as a taboo forces people to go to more extreme lengths to satisfy their needs. Who would have thunk it?
Also, keep Missy's point here in mind. It's really going to bite her in the ass later.
Probably has something to do with the majority Christian population over here. And their own
Mate,
Bible
it's not the
teaches them
Christian
that nudity is
population's
something
fault
to be
that no one
ashamed
likes
of.
your shitty
Why?
fetish art.
Good job talking over him again, dumbass, as he was specifying that it was Christian doctrines that dictate that the human body is shameful and meant to be hidden away. And he's not wrong on that matter.
Christianity has always had a set of rules to their ways of life that pretty much renders nudity practically one of the most sinful things that you can do ever.
And since well over 80% of the population in America is Christian, it kinda makes sense where he'd make this connection.
And while, yeah, we might not know much about what goes on in other countries when it comes to social standards like this, but here's the funny part. Neither does Ben.
Why should we as humans be ashamed of our own bodies, and other people's bodies for that matter? I'm a secular humanist, so I appreciate everything nature has to offer. That includes a new body, both males and females. I got desensitized to nudity when I was taking life drawing classes in community college and seeing just how respectable and natural the nude models were. Not only were they okay getting undressed in front of a room of 20 people, they seemed like they enjoyed it.
Oh boy, life drawing. Way to use that fucking defense. Okay, I have to take life drawing too. Life drawing is not sexy. The models do not like posing naked in front of a bunch of awkward 18 to 22-year-old art students.
God, you are just blatantly hearing only what you want to. He didn't say that nude modeling was sexy, simply that he became desensitized to nudity as a result of his nude modeling classes.
We'd all rather be home, but we have to fucking either pose in front of these kids or sit in these terrible-ass chairs to draw these naked people. We're all doing this just for the money or the grade.
He never even said that he found it to be sexy. He said that he found the class to be very respectable, and they don't enjoy the job. Yeah, the money's pretty good, but the job itself can actually be pretty fun if you're comfortable with it. I've been to several art classes, including life art, and throughout most of my time during those classes, of course I was going to run across a nude piece.
It may have even made people far more comfortable with drawing them. And it's far easier for an artist that may have never drawn life forms in that kind of setting before. Honestly, how many of you would like to draw somebody who looked like they were kidnapped by that weird uncle who told them, "You're gonna go up there and you're gonna earn that money, anime"? Chances are you wouldn't enjoy drawing that if you were new to life drawing classes.
But here's the funny thing. None of them were presented in a pornographic manner. If you'd rather be at home hiding under your covers from the disgusting naked body, then you forget one very important thing. Your own naked body for when you go in the shower. Oh god! Naked bodies everywhere! Ah!
Nudity?
No.
Nudity?
No.
Nudity?
No.
Nudity!
Oh, no!
Also, go fuck yourself. I was hesitant to try it, but I fucking loved nude drawing classes.
I grew to appreciate the complexity and beauty of the human form. I'm not going to be afraid to admit it. I love drawing nude people. Now, with that mentality, society thinks I should be labeled as a male sexist pig.
You know, with the way you're talking about this shit, you are a male sexist pig. When you can't think of anything with your brain, you think with your dick.
How dare you share your opinion that nudity is not explicitly pornographic and not something to be shied away from because human bodies are unique and something to be admired, you sexist pig!
And then they draw gravity-defying tits and try and cover it up with, oh, it's okay because I'm appreciating the body, even though it's still only one kind of body.
What? So? He's drawing characters that already exist as they're already portrayed. Are you fucking angry that he didn't make Starfire plus-sized? And what gravity-defying boobs? These characters are all wearing bras!
Psh, those boobs are properly supported. You shut up with your free-falling boob shit, Mang.
Oh boy, that's a lot to unwrap at once. Okay, so first of all, he comes off as sexist by talking about nude people in general. He didn't even specify females within that statement, just naked people in general. So how the fuck does that make him a sexist pig? At most, this makes you what everyone calls me, a cringy SJW. I grant you don't have any reason to have tranny leveled on you as well, but whatever. Second, gravity-defying tits? No. They're drawn alright from what I'm seeing, at least in comparison to what they could be.
Great fuckity joy. So not only do you guys seem to have a problem with him drawing female forms and liking it, now there's a problem because he generally draws one type of body. Oh, the pain. Being legit, what is even the problem with that? He's a guy who likes tits and likes them so much that he draws them himself. This is him admiring the female form in a productive, creative way. This is perfectly normal, healthy shit. And the examples you used are just of-age characters in fucking bikinis. Fuck, even we draw our characters in bikinis and shiz.
Fuck yeah, we do!
Does that mean I'm objectifying the human body? Man, let me tell you, prudes, if he's thinking with his dick, then you're thinking with your snaggletooth pussy.
Americans confuse me. I especially get even more confused when I find out that European countries are much more tolerant of nudity.
Which European countries? Are you going to give any names?
Oop, here's that funny part. And of course he isn't going to give any names. If he doesn't know which countries have what kind of social standards that are different from ours, he is not going to bullshit you a name off countries that may or may not be completely different.
No protest.
Anyone? You know, I can't speak for Europeans, but I can confirm that Australia censors nudity too. The point is, don't bother trying to speak for countries you have no idea about. Otherwise you'll come off like a fucking dickhead.
Oh, sweet, it's later now. So, Missy, you shouldn't speak for other countries because you look like a dickhead. Well, dickhead, you spoke for other countries just a few minutes ago when you said that every country has standards of decency. Now, while you didn't just straight up say what those other standards of decency are, you're still overgeneralizing those said standards a ton before you turn around in the same video and say that you shouldn't speak for all countries. Fucking try again.
So basically, pointless advice that he already took. GG, great job there, mate! Off to bounce to the outland with me kangaroos!
Yeah, you know, mentioning countries that censor sexual shiz doesn't make his point wrong, despite the fact that he didn't mention specific countries. He was saying Europe as a whole. He was making a generalization. And it wasn't even an uneducated generalization. A vague one, maybe.
Movies that air on TV don't censor any nude scenes that would be blurred out as all heck over here on American TV. Especially if it's at midnight. What is it about European society that's so tolerant of the nude body? Any of you Europeans watching this want to fill me in on that?
No, it's not. It's relegated to nudist beaches and shit, and people don't walk around with their junk out because there's no good time for that shit. And, you know, programs where people just show off nudity and shit, that's just relegated to time slots where kids can't watch that.
Nope, now that's an uneducated generalization. I find that Europeans are, compared to Americans, more comfortable with their bodies and with sex. In fact, I imagine even bringing up this topic in my blog might offend some Americans. Thinking through my recent travels, the examples are plentiful. My Dutch friends had a copy of a graphic government-produced magazine promoting safe sex on their coffee table. I was sitting on the toilet at an airport in Poland, and the cleaning lady asked me to lift my leg so she could sweep. I've learned that I can measure the after-dark romantic appeal of scenic pullouts along Italy's Amalfi Coast Drive by how many used condoms litter the asphalt. Soap ads on huge billboards overlooking major city intersections in Belgium come with lathered-up breasts. The logo of a German friend's travel guidebook publishing company is a stick figure of a traveler on a tropical paradise islet leaning up against its only palm tree, hands behind its head, reading a book that's supported by his erect penis. God. Children play naked in fountains in Norway. A busty porn star is elected to parliament in Italy. Copper-toned grandmothers in the south of France have no tan lines. The Student Tourist Center in Copenhagen welcomes visitors with a bowl of free condoms at the info desk. Accountants in Munich fold their suits neatly on the grass as every inch of their body soaks up the sun while taking a lunch break in the park. Contrary to what you think, it's far more open than you guys assume. And of course you would know that if you gave an actual shit. I mean, what, did you just run fresh out of shits and were just too lazy to give out fucks instead? How lazy do you have to be?
So am I supposed to be laughing at the fact that Missy just berated Ben for talking about European countries without citing specific examples, and then this spiky-headed dingbat does the very same thing in the next cutaway? I feel like I should be laughing at this. Furthermore, have you just never seen images of European architecture? Talk about spouting off about countries you shouldn't speak for, because nudity is entirely looked down upon at the Piazza Navona fountains of Rome, the Tuileries Garden in France, Cimetière du Père Lachaise, the Sochi Seaport building in Russia, practically any fucking building in Prague.
Over here in America, with the whole obesity epidemic, people
Okay,
are taught
I will
to be
say that
ashamed
body
of their
shaming is a problem,
bodies
especially when it comes to
because they
teenage
don't
girls.
look-
What the fuck does body shaming have to do with this? We're talking about nudity here! I guess you could say that body shaming could go along with the whole nudity thing, but that's not the focus of this discussion.
They
But the
like
solution is not to tell them,
supermodels. They
hey,
feel they
you should
need
get
to
naked
cover
and show your junk
themselves
to the world so
because
older
they're
men can get
told
off on it.
nobody
Missy, you're drunk. Go home. Literally didn't even let Ben finish talking before you started creaming all over everyone.
That was not what he was saying. He's saying with the obesity epidemic, we teach people to hide their bodies, and that's a toxic idea to have. Where does he at all say that obese people need to walk around in their birthday suits?
The simple answer is that he doesn't say that, but you just shot off to Mars with body shaming dough. And you were like, drawing sexualized fat people is wrong because it's objectifying them. But you got on his case earlier for only drawing people and we've been rickrolled, holy shit!
Stop squeezing your Twinkies on us!
wants to cover themselves up because they're told nobody wants to see that. I think that's a toxic thing to teach our kids.
And you even leave it within the video. Good going.
Personally, I think people with chubby bodies are cute.
I'm going
Lots
to
of people
throw
do,
up.
actually.
First
Yes,
off,
me.
he can't
The models
even
that
say the
display
word
in
fat,
magazines and
so I
Hardy's
know he's
commercials are
probably
too
only
perfect.
talking about girls
I
with
like a
like
human
a little
body
bit
with
of
some
chub.
imperfections
Second,
to
I'm
it.
pretty sure that
All those
even if
boob
he
jobs
likes
and
fat
makeup is
women,
fake
he
and
probably
unnatural, if
only
you ask
likes the
me.
fetishized
I
image of
prefer
them.
people
Because having a preference is a social sin. He likes chubby girls, or fat girls if you want to feel better about it. It's a fucking preference. Preferences aren't for the sake of offending anyone. You know the phrase, oh, she's not my type? Yeah, there's a reason why that phrase exists. Some like 'em thick, skinny, black, white, tall, short, gay, straight, blah, blah, blah. Different tastes in people are like different tastes in whatever the fuck it is that you're into. Tumblr be triggered once again.
Fat
who are
women deal with a
comfortable
lot of
their body
shit
don't
already,
mind
and I
showing
can
it
tell
off,
you right now,
no
they
matter
do
if
not
they
take
have
kindly
freckles,
to being
fat, or even
objectified like
zits.
this.
This is painful.
Can you keep your proverbial social justice future boner out of this video for 5 minutes? Now, let's see what Ben was saying beyond your agenda.
I think that's a toxic thing to teach our kids. Personally, I think people with chubby bodies are cute. Lots of people do, actually. If you ask me, the models that display in magazines and Hardy's commercials are too perfect. I like a human body with some imperfections to it. All those boob jobs and makeup is fake and unnatural, if you ask me. I prefer people who are comfortable with their body and don't mind showing it off, no matter if they have freckles, fat, or even zits.
Oh, hey, it's almost as if he mentions fat in general within his list of imperfections of things that he wishes people would be more comfortable in. As in, you know, just being themselves over what you're implying he's saying. Isn't it grand when you don't talk over every point Ben makes with dildos plugging your ears with caramel dots and muffled in the background?
Secondly, you have absolutely nothing to support your accusation against Ben. You're just spouting off whatever pops into your head as a means of trying to discredit him, which isn't how an argument works.
Oh, the joy, I can see the light. Oh, the joy, I can see the light. Please don't wait, let me in through heaven's gate. Okay, let's pretend to assume that what he's doing is actually objectifying people. Again, you literally got on his case for only objectifying thin bodies.
Think of anything with your brain, you think with your dick. And then they draw gravity-defying tits and try and cover it up with, oh, it's okay because I'm appreciating the body, even though it's still only one kind of body.
And then
I'm going
Lots
to
of people
throw
do,
up.
actually.
First off, he can't even say the word fat, so I know he's probably only talking about girls with like a little bit of chub. Second, I'm pretty sure that even if he likes fat women, he probably only likes the fetishized image of them. Fat women deal with a lot of shit already, and I can tell you right now, they do not take kindly to being objectified like this.
Seriously, fuck you. Also, as a thin person, I think I have every right to say chubby peoples are cute as fuck. Fuck off. And again, you cut him off and muted the rest of his point just so you could pull this bullshit.
Else. I got desensitized to nudity when I was taking light drawing classes in community college and seeing just how respectable and natural the nude models were. Not only were they okay getting undressed in front of a room of 20 people, they seemed like they enjoyed it.
Oh boy, life drawing. Way to use that fucking defense.
So who's objectifying who here? Cause from where I'm sitting, you guys are literally just objectifying him by treating him like nothing more than an object that can't possibly have any emotion because he likes to fuck.
To it. All those boob jobs and makeup is fake and unnatural if you ask me. I prefer people who are comfortable with their body and don't mind showing it off, no matter if they have freckles, fat, or even zits.
Then why do all your naked drawings look like they came straight out of a Playboy centerfold?
Because that's his personal preference, because he's drawing images of characters that already exist and are depicted as such, because he can't draw fat people, because it's easier. Trust me, I draw fat people a lot. It actually is more difficult than drawing skinny people. Big shock, they've got more fat rolls. Shocking, I know!
Oh my god, just fucking kill yourself. You joyless, frigid BS artist. Maybe, just maybe, that's his way of portraying the beauty he personally sees in those kinds of forms. You know what, fuck it. Since you guys want to attack his personal preferences and interests and put him down as a person just for that, then I'm gonna have my fun with you two. Let's say I drew your average supermodel type character. Beautiful, pretty, perky boobs and all that shit. You'd probably get on my case for making her look too perfect and shit, right? Well, what if I drew the same character with almost every kind of hideous congenital deformity you can think of? Well, then you'd probably look at me like I'm a fucked up human being for drawing people like that, or for exploiting terrible things like that for attention. The reality is, art is art, and it is meant to interpret all aspects of life, from the beauty in it to the most hideous parts of it. So with that in mind, he has zero obligation to draw anything how you personally want it to be drawn. If you don't like it, draw it your own fucking way. Literally none of this shit was your business to begin with.
Because if you want to appreciate all bodies, you need to draw them all too. Gee, couldn't be due to the fact that he doesn't really draw plus-size women very well, could it? Because, no offense to Ben, but he is pretty lacking in some areas. He's improved, I'll give him that, but if he doesn't feel he's ready to draw women that are of a varied body type, then he doesn't have to. He's not obligated to any rules about what kind of body he should draw. You're not the fucking art police, Missy.
Granted, I'm not encouraging people who weigh 600 pounds and eat nothing but fast food to keep doing so. You do you, but know that kind of lifestyle will kill you.
Everything kills you. People put themselves in danger every day, yet you're only concerned with people who eat themselves to death. I mean, people go out in the sun and tan and get skin cancer. People smoke. People do drugs. And yet your main concern is people who eat too much McDonald's. Besides, we're all gonna die. It's a part of life.
Shut up, shut up, shut up! How thick are you?
Are you honestly going to tell me that because Ben doesn't immediately list off every fucking health problem in the world because it's irrelevant to body shaming that it's a problem? What the fuck?
Oh, I get it, Doodles. It's because people are going to die anyways. That justifies people racing towards their graves. It doesn't matter if there is a difference between passively getting skin cancer from the sun and actively purchasing food that will affect your health.
But that doesn't even matter because Ben was, at the time, talking about chub, not people who tan, not lung cancer patients, and not alcoholics.
Not to mention, it's easier to fall into patterns of unhealthy eating than it is to pick up a dangerous habit like smoking or excessive drinking. It's also cheaper and marketed to younger audiences. Therefore, more people can indulge in unhealthy foods beginning at a younger age, which causes particular health problems long before anyone would be of age to start drinking, tanning, or smoking.
And who says he doesn't think lung cancer would be a severe health issue? Just because he doesn't fucking address it doesn't mean he doesn't think it. And hell, rewatching the whole thing without you and your partner and Stupid here talking over it, he was using obesity as a fucking example to a health problem he wouldn't advise people keep doing. God damn it anyway, you two are fucking stupid.
Also, he's saying that he doesn't mind plus-size people, but he'd rather that the person still be able to take care of themselves. As long as they're healthy and happy with their bodies, he's all over them. Why are you bitching? Shouldn't you be more happy that he's this open about his choices in relationships? Or do you think that by healthy, he means one of those fucking supermodels on health magazines? Which is it, Tumblr?
Of course we all die. Some sooner than others.
All I'm saying is some people, genetically speaking, need fat to be on them. Not everybody is built the same, so some people are going to have unique little qualities about them that separate them from others. And in my opinion, there's nothing wrong with that. I guess we can also thank porn for poisoning people's minds to think that nudity equals sex. Well, so surprise, surprise, it doesn't. If that was the case, Michelangelo's David would be the Debbie Does Dallas of the Renaissance period.
Way to try and sound smart without knowing what the fuck you're talking about. Debbie Does Dallas actually features sex and was a movie produced with money procured by illegal means. Women were exploited on film. Michelangelo's David is just a sculpture of a man without clothes, and everyone involved was consenting and wasn't doing it because, oh, I just need the money. That's a terrible goddamn comparison, man.
Guys, the one in the hat? I hate them.
A terrible comparison, huh? Evidently not, seeing as you just agreed with this point. His point was just because it has nudity does not, under those circumstances, mean it's porn. Else David would be considered Debbie Does Dallas. You, Allie, wound up just saying, yep, David is just a nude dude, and moved on.
All you're doing right now is just proving his point.
He's stating that if nudity was explicitly tied to sex, then the statue of David would have been considered far more graphic and inappropriate at the time it was made, much like a controversial porno film. He's not referring to the process of making either piece, simply the nature of how each piece is perceived.
Hashtag Great Cunt Nuggets 2098.
Allow me to do 1 minute of research and calm the minds of anybody who might think this. Nudity, noun. The state or the fact of being nude. Sex, noun. Sexual activity, including sexual intercourse.
Oh, well, that's fun. Assuming Missy is the editor, she contradicts Allie's point more about the trigger word from earlier, being that Allie was using one definition of the term to describe a result of PTSD, whereas Ben's connotation was something that sets people off. Oh boy, stupid and a lack of teamwork. That's truly a spectacle to behold.
There you have it. 2 definitions that have little to nothing to do with each other. Just
There
because an
is
artist draws a
some
person
form
with
of
no clothes on
correlation
does not
there.
make it
You
porn.
can't fuck someone
It could be an
without
anatomy
exposing
study,
some
an artist
skin.
statement.
Well, in that case, I can't pleasure my shower head without stripping down and doing a little dance for. Are you for fucking real?
And you can't walk without using your ass muscles. Does that mean that walking and twerking are directly related?
I beg to differ.
About walking and twerking?
What? No. You guys know about the geisha, right? Well, you guys know why the geisha were so popular and attractive? Because they were not only well-trained hostesses, but also entertainers. The way they presented themselves were alluring to men during the feudal era of Japan. During the geisha's deflowering, when a man was given her virginity, they covered themselves nearly the entire time during their intercourse. It wasn't about the skin, it was about the things that they wore. Hell, even today they still symbolize beauty of women and hardly show much of any skin. Bull fucking shit, you can't have sex without showing some skin.
Being nude does not mean that there's automatically a correlation to the act of sex. Some of us just like doing normal shit, like changing into clothes, changing out of clothes, getting our naked bodies cleaned or tanned, fucking a turtle. I don't fucking know. There's a lot of things you can do while nude that don't involve sex. Hell, I know there was one lady who went on the Dr. Oz shows saying she liked doing household chores in the nude while nobody was home. She could be in the nude polishing an onion with her feet and it's not any of your fucking business. Wait, what were we talking about?
And another contradiction to the board of dumb. Hey, Allie, make up your mind. Does nudity equal porn, or doesn't it? I mean, you legit just agreed with this quote-unquote terrible point about how it doesn't, despite the fact that you're trying to argue it anyway. I get that short-term memory loss is common with stupid people, but come on!
Or maybe the artist just likes drawing that character nude. Who cares?
But it all depends on context. If people are drawn nude for artistic reasons, it's not porn. But if it's made to be arousing, then yeah, it's pretty pornographic.
But what if it wasn't made to be arousing, but people still derive sexual pleasure from it? Or what if it was made to be arousing, but it fails to meet the goal? Trust me, I've seen a lot of really badly drawn porn that fails to meet the goal, and I've seen images that I didn't think could be sexually arousing, but goddamn fetishists prove me wrong on that.
And considering that all your drawings have, like, girls with their tits out, I'm pretty sure that is meant to be pornographic.
Because pinups were meant to be porno covers. Pinups have been around since forever. It's a style of art that goes appreciated by men for years, since those pinups have gotten soldiers through a lot of hell. It's not anything from a World War II plane, but it's hardly something I'd call pornographic.
You know I'm certainly not one to talk here, but porn can be a form of art too. Follow me here. Fashion is an art form we wear on our bodies, yeah? Well, did you know that a lot of what we wear, and even the body modifications we do, stemmed from porn? And let's talk about that whole nudity in an artistic form is okay, but nothing else. I can just as easily pull up all the erotic paintings we've had in history. Francesco de Goya's The Nude Maja, Katsushika Hokusai's The Dream of the Fisherman's Wife, Hieronymus Bosch's The Garden of Earthly Delights, Titian's Venus of Urbino, Gustav Klimt, whose painting's name makes my tongue want to serve me divorce papers, Egon Schiele's Friendship, Gustave Courbet's L'Origine du Monde, don't ask me to pronounce French ever again. Need I say more? Not all nudity has a pornographic context, granted, but let's not pretend that these kinds of paintings didn't have a pornographic or sexual context. Porn is an art form in its own right, and if you want to get on his case about pinup art, need I mention Betty fucking Boop, one of the first famous sex symbols in animation? So to say that porn or art of a sexual nature can't be considered art is just as retarded as that lonely brain cell rattling around in your skull that can't seem to find any friends.
Nah, guys, you're missing the real point here. They're literally all covering their tits up. This fails to arouse me. Thus, not porn.
Yes. Yes, quite.
Good show, my boy, good show.
The bouncing of the breast clearly indicates a longing to travel, whilst held down by the mundane stagnation of everyday totality.
What?
I can't stand seeing my fellow artists get ridiculed because they draw new characters. Welcome to the internet. You can find a lot worse than that. Go find somewhere else to get triggered.
Nice misuse of that word, Benny.
He was speaking in a hyperbolic sense. Calm your tits down. You're lactating your prematurely driven rage juices all over the fucking place, and it's making one hell of a mess.
Allie and Missy cannot seem to get along with their points, and I want to die. Anyone up for a suicide pact?
I'm right here with ya, buddy.
Society should learn to ease up when it comes to nudity. I especially get even more confused when you can't show a woman's breasts on TV, but you turn on the 5 o'clock news and you see kids getting run over by school buses.
Those two things have no correlation. If you wanted a real argument, you could argue why breastfeeding in public is frowned upon, but men are allowed to walk shirtless everywhere.
Hold on, that doesn't sound right. But given the rest of these arguments, why am I not surprised?
You know what? I was wrong. Your brain cell isn't retarded. The sperm and the egg that created you were retarded. The very act of creating you was probably retarded as well.
Because violence and sex are some of the biggest taboos, why is it okay for us to show one and not the other? That's what he's saying. Get your lesbo head out of your ass, you RPG minx wannabe.
He's bringing up the argument as to why violence is okay for people to see, but the natural human body is too inappropriate. Your argument doesn't work because it directly plays off of what society already dictates is appropriate and inappropriate nudity, wherein breasts are not okay, and since men don't have breasts as they are recognized, they don't have to cover up. Ben is effectively questioning why a mentality exists, and you're arguing him with, well, the mentality is good, so there, fuck you.
It also doesn't help your case when boobs are generally considered to be an attractive physical quality on women for men, and really anybody else with that sexual preference as well.
This is a distinction that Ben as a whole says is unfounded.
Also, once again, you're talking over the rest of the sentence that explains Ben's point. Being a child would more likely be traumatized over violence than just simple nudity. Oh wait, that's right, you two can't decide whether nudity is porn or not. My bad.
You put the Kool-Aid in the bleach and you shake it all up.
That's another weird thing about America. How come violence and war is perfectly okay to show on TV, but nudity and sex is so ridiculed and is seen as something that will scar little kids?
Normally, gore isn't shown on the 5 p.m. news.
He didn't say gore, he said violence. Clean out your ears.
Oh, but we're not going to talk about that? That didn't happen. That was never broadcasted, and neither was this.
And this.
And normally kids don't watch the news. They don't give a shit about that. They just want to watch their cartoons and play with their toys.
Okay, sure, kids don't. But parents do, and while it's not every parent, there are a number of parents who turn on the TV to listen or watch the news, and in turn, kids have a chance to hear about violence a lot more than they hear about sex crimes. And speaking of which...
Now tell me this, Benny. Do you want there to be naked people prancing around on TV just for little Johnny to watch so they can go out of the house naked and get exploited by his closet pedophile neighbor Gary?
Whee! Let's slide down the slippery slope together!
The fuck do you think late night HBO is for? The Notebook?
No! Sex crimes are rife in America. Until we can get the rates lower, we can't show nudity to kids like it's Tuesday.
Till we get the rates lower? Do you realize what you're implying here? Oh, we can't show little Timmy what a grown dingaling looks like. Not until the sex crimes have lowered. Fucking what?
Are you fucking serious right now? Implying that anything shown on TV or media in general is the main problem. Hey guys, can we not show news coverage of car accidents until people stop crashing into shit? That'll really help our society a bunch. Okay, thanks.
Also, Vijima gangs.
What are you talking about? Nudity is not traumatizing to a child. Simply showing them a naked body or teaching them that there's nothing inherently shameful about the human body will not teach them that it's okay to wander around naked all the time. And any intelligent parent, teacher, or after-school program will teach a child that it's not okay for people to touch your no-no zone. Public nudity laws are still a thing, and Ben's not arguing their presence, but teaching people that their body isn't something to be ashamed of could make people more accepting of the human body as a whole. Furthermore, Allie, you state that children shouldn't be exposed to nudity because they're impressionable and apparently will just go and be nude outside. But what about them seeing things like gymnastics or extreme sports? Should we not let children see that backflips are a thing because of the footballer who did a backflip and broke his neck? Oh, but apparently according to Missy, everything kills you and everyone's gonna die anyway, so who cares? I guess creepy pedophile Greg just has to make sure that he buries the body real deep and then nobody will care anymore.
Where have we come as a society when Janet Jackson's nipple can cause an outcry, but a war in the Middle East is openly shown on TV for all us to see?
As far as I can tell, there are discretion warnings for a reason, to alert parents of potentially disturbing content. And yes, this includes war. That's why rating systems rate media for a whole bunch of things, not just nudity. I mean, what are you gonna do, take your little kid to see Saw? What the fuck?
Implying Ben is only talking about violence in movies and not something like the news where we got shit like the Baltimore riots. Yeah, remember those in 2015? Or what about the Boston bombing of 2013, Aurora shooting of 2012? What about 9/11? I mean, if you want to go back further, during scripting, Ponder brought to my attention a news story where a reporter on air went Kurt Cobain before Kurt Cobain made it cool.
Fuck yeah!
You cannot be this fucking dense. When was the last time rating systems were used for the fucking news? He's talking about the news! That thing you clearly don't know the functions of. Eat an entire box of cinnamon. Let that sink in for a moment. Guys, this video is gonna get flagged so fucking hard because of me.
Nudity is a lot of things to me, but disgusting isn't one of them. Not only do I tolerate the human body, I find it beautiful. I see it as the basis for learning anatomy, the quintessential subject matter to go to when I can't think of anything else to draw, and above all else.
So because he finds the natural human body to be attractive in a non-sexual way, he's immediately thinking about sex. I want to cry.
Hey, I do that too, fuck you.
Because all nudity equals porn. Your routine acts of cleansing you humans call showers are way dirtier than you sexist pigs ever imagined.
What are you three even talking about?
Annotations, Doodle. Arouse them.
Oh. Oh. Christ, Missy, get fucked. No, seriously, get fucked. You might loosen up a bit.
Hey, she could just do some rubbing. That would loosen her up a bit.
Polish the pearl.
Flick the bean.
Finger paint the canvas.
Stir up some clam chowder!
Christ, you two. If Blaze doesn't get us flagged, you will.
Who wants to talk about vaginas?
An expression of freedom and embracing who you are as a person.
Well, if you're really embracing who you are as a person, I'd be seeing a lot more pictures of nude men. If what I can tell from you is that you're embracing drawing nudity of girls from children's television shows, mind you, I can tell that you're a disgusting, perverted sack of shit.
The low-hanging fruit. It's right there for the pickings, but I think I shall leave it for another.
He's not obliged to draw to your standards! hurts!
Why would you expect nude pictures of men from a straight male anyways? People tend to draw what they enjoy, and if he draws images of characters that he enjoys in a way that is visually appealing to him, he is embracing his unique artistic fingerprint. Don't worry, Babu. If you want man and woman sexies, I can provide.
Because I like drawing hot, aged-up versions of characters from a franchise I like. You're so right, I'm a disgusting, sexist piece of shit. I should draw nothing but naked mans from now on to fully embrace who I am as a person. You guys think I'm joking? This video is gonna get flagged so fucking hard.
I just wanted to point out that you were drawing kids from the Loud House that are respectively 4 and 15 years old while you're talking about all this sexual shit. You're fucking disgusting.
Oh, fuck off.
He's not drawing porn of these characters, you prude! Get over yourself!
Yeah, 4 and 15 clothed and not in sexually provocative poses, may I add. So actually, at this point, you're jumping down his throat to quite honestly jump down his throat. And while I could be wrong, I'm not sure if Ben is actually into vor.
Oh, so now he's not supposed to draw cartoons he likes whilst talking about the fucked up backwards ideas and baseless taboos of our society. Maybe he should draw them nude whilst talking about nude things. Would that make you happy?
That is to say, while I want us to be more tolerant of nudity, I do believe the restrictions on it are too far gone in my country to be lifted. I highly doubt in my lifetime I'll see a group of nudists casually dining at a family restaurant.
Why the fuck would you want
But
that?
I think
Because food and nude go together like a dick and an anus.
Nudity, porn, social escalation, statistics, art forms, rating systems in media, the news, fascination and interest in the anatomical form, art, hyperbole. Keep going. You still have like 4 minutes left.
these restrictions on nudity only enhance the beauty of it.
You sound like the kind of
about it.
person who
What's more
finds it
beautiful?
sexier
Seeing
when a
person
woman
you like
says
nude
no.
24/7.
Appreciating the human body is rape! Call the police! Call the police!
You are straight up retarded when it comes to your arguments, and look up the verbal definition for retarded before I hear a word from you.
Oh, please, Ponder, we can't look up the definition of retarded because the connotations to your wording. Also, Missy, you don't see the Grand Canyon every day, so therefore when you see it, it's truly a spectacle to behold. On a ridiculously smaller scale, we don't get the McRib at all times, but when it comes out every year, you see people rush to buy that shiz like it's going out of style. Humans as a species want to experience things they don't get to experience often. That's kind of what Ben has been going on about this whole time. Stop making a huge fuss over the human body and people will become desensitized, and in turn, art that is considered not safe for work now might not be considered as taboo as it used to be. If that makes any sense.
He sounds like the kind of person who understands the psychological concept behind things like, I don't know, the marshmallow test. Here's what I mean by that. When somebody tells you to stay away from something or to not do it because it's somehow inherently bad, that's one thing. But when somebody tells you to wait for something or avoid it and all expressions of it in the promises of said thing being better than it would have been otherwise, something else then begins to occur in that person. Curiosity and want. Curiosity in trying to determine whether this thing is as bad or indecent as people think and wanting to find out. So in places like Japan, where sexual lusts and desires seem to be either lacking or more self-controlled despite their openness to it, one has to wonder why. And no, it's not because of overexposure. The reason is they're not treating it like it's some kind of taboo. They're treating it like it is. A natural function. One that of course should be practiced with a level of responsibility. Here on the other hand, we're not only treating it like a taboo, but in the process we're even neglecting to educate people on how to be responsible about it. And that's kind of his point. The way the system is set up makes it far more detrimental to people than they think. And what makes this even worse is when we treat it like that in imaginary, fictitious mediums, like art. Art is an outlet for everything, including things like this. So what's it to you? Where was I? Oh yeah, go gargle nails.
7. Or knowing that person for a long time, seeing them wear clothes, and then when the moment is right, seeing them nude in all their glory.
So what's his
That
argument
nudity
here?
is mo-
Gee, I don't know. How about you shut your face hole and let him finish the argument and then you'll know. What's your point to that?
mostly hidden
Nudity
by
should be
society only makes
accepted,
it all the
but
more
it's
beautiful
also
when we see
bad
it.
because when he sees
Granted,
nude
being
people
able to
walking
find nude
around all
people
day,
with a
he
simple
can't
Google
pop a
search
boner
has
because it's not
definitely
arousing
decreased some
anymore.
of that
No, what he's saying is... You know what? Never mind. I've said it enough times that you probably have your brain turned off by now.
Maybe if you didn't talk over him, you'd hear that he's saying that because nudity is shunned, that makes it mean more in certain situations.
special. So, if you're an artist and you want to draw some nudity, you go right ahead and do it. Just make sure that the characters or people you draw are adults. You might get attacked by the wrong group of people, but just know you're protected by something called the Constitution. You're doing nothing wrong.
Yeah, use the Constitution to protect your right to draw cartoon characters that are based on real women in Japan who have no say in you sexualizing your shit. Fuck yeah, America! Also, the Constitution protects my right to tell you you're a gross sack of dog shit.
It's too easy.
Alright, let me address the obvious. While yes, Hi Hi Puffy Ami Yumi was based on 2 real Japanese women, the character is only based on them.
Ami and Yumi in the cartoon are exaggerated versions of the real Ami and Yumi from the band.
I mean, it's kind of fair game. Then again, with the crowd of who I'm talking to, I feel like everything here is just going in one ear and out the other.
It's called reality versus fantasy. Maybe you've heard of it.
And the Constitution also protects my right to tell you that some research, observation, attentiveness to his arguments, just overall book learning, and possibly Drano could have helped you avoid being such retarded word-twisting asswipes in front of everyone with 2 eyes and 2 ears.
Before I wrap this video up, allow me to read you some of my favorite stories I've found related to both nudity and prudity. In February 2005, a New Zealand man charged with indecent exposure showed up to his court hearing naked.
That's not funny.
Humor is subjective. What you prudes may not find funny, he may. Simple as that.
And jokes.
Protested his arrest, saying there has to be a distinction between people flashing young girls and simple public nudity.
You know, both of those things are exposing yourself to people who don't want to see that shit.
That was the point of the examples he was giving.
Why are you arguing him at this point in the video? He's not even stating his opinion anymore. He's literally just reading off actual news stories. The quote-unquote irrelevant parts you claim to have skipped over are just more of these related stories. You didn't say anything about the town in Mexico that banned nudity, including in personal homes. You didn't say anything about strippers being forced to carry business licenses for stripping. No, you twat-tarts are just gonna pick and choose what you think, unfoundedly mind you, that you can argue against.
Twat tarts. Part of a balanced breakfast.
A sex therapist in Germany was arrested for participating in his hobby, jogging at night only wearing socks and shoes.
It's still indecent exposure to unwilling people.
Also from Germany, a man was robbed when a woman asked him to take his clothes off so she could take a picture of him. She made off with his wallet.
Okay, that dude's just a fucking dumbass. No one in their right mind does that shit, and that story has no bearing on your argument.
Cool, you're right. Nice going. Good job. Have a cookie. Or at least that's what I would be saying if, he was making an argument, you twat. At this point, he's just spouting off stories he finds funny. He's no longer making an argument for why people should stop being prudes about nudity. Just stories. Quit being cunts, you cunts.
He came to this conclusion because one student was walking around nude during the school's freshman orientation. Fellow students of the college decided to protest to this in the nude.
What the fuck is wrong with you? We want these kids to go and expose themselves to barely legal and possibly underage people to say, oh man, it's okay to be naked, when nobody wants to see that shit? Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, that's totes what he was getting at. Yet another item to add to the list. Examples.
Are you seriously so brain dead that you don't realize that if the world didn't stigmatize nudity as Ben is claiming we shouldn't, then a campus full of naked college students being seen by people wouldn't be an issue?
Also, notice how a lot of these stories come from Germany. I thought Europe was more progressive with public nudity. Isn't that what you said?
No, he said that they're much more tolerant of nudity. There's a difference.
Germany is not the entirety of Europe. Either you actually listen to a person's argument before interjecting with useless, baseless shit, or you can roll down a mountain. Either one works for me.
Dude. This might seem like a touchy subject, but as an artist, I felt it was essential to talk about and give my thoughts on it.
And as a female artist is at high risk for sexual harassment due to my gender, my weight, and the area I live in, I felt it was appropriate.
Eat dick. No, seriously, eat dick. Kids love them. The assorted fruity flavors might put a smile on your frigid face. And personally speaking, as a female artist myself, I happen to agree with a lot of the points he made in this video. They're sound and even based on psychology. What did you have to offer? Personal fifis? The fuck am I supposed to do with those?
Especially since this is just going to lead on to nothing but you telling him, oh, because I'm a woman, I had to shoot you down. Hey, guess what? We have 3 women in a tranny here. Kindly do us a favor and jump off a cliff? I don't care if you have a parachute or not. And hey, You wanna know what I've been sitting on this whole time waiting to be relevant? The fact that normal humans know the fucking difference between fantasy and reality, making a lot of your arguments regarding people being manipulated by the evil media demons all rendered fucking moot.
Collectively, as a bunch of other female artists, we would kindly like to say, go fuck yourselves.
What do you folks think about nudity? Are you okay with it, offended by it, or in between? Let me know in the comments below.
You know, for a video entitled, What's the Problem with Nudity? You're giving many problems with nudity.
And you ma'ams and or squids are pretty much the poster children for prudity. And that's coming from a prude. Holy shit, that's awful.
Oh my god, fuck off, both of you. Doodles, where's your bleach?
In the fridge, bottom shelf.
Nah, there's just a bottle of detergent here. And it's down to the blue flower.
Blue flower.
Oh god.
Blue flower!
Check out JB Entertainingness.
Nah. Shit, this was a fucking ride. Missy, do you got anything to say to this?
Okay, to wrap this up, all I have to say is this argument's boiled down to people are mad when I draw porn of children's characters, so let's blame some people and call them prudes to make it seem like they're wrong and like they're Tumblr SJWs because they're so triggered.
So let's blame him for supporting sexual assault and pedophilia and call him a pervert because he likes to draw something as ambiguous as nudity, just to make him seem like he's in the wrong.
He loves to blame everyone and acts like there's nothing wrong with showing kids nudity.
So we'll blame porn and pinups for the problems in our society, because that's totally the cause, obviously.
Ignoring all the pedophiles and child predators and all the child grooming that happens.
So we're gonna blame him for not only ignoring them, but also somehow inherently supporting their behaviors by drawing nudity and pinups of grown women or grown-up versions of them. That totally makes sense. Also, let's just ignore the actual psychology behind the topic of openness to sexuality. Fuck that.
But nope, his right to draw titties is more important than ensuring children don't get harmed.
Because we must keep the imaginary cartoon children safe. Wait, that sounds kind of stupid. Let's reword that. Your drawings of aged-up imaginary children is what's causing people to fantasize about raping actual children. That works, right? No. Everything you've stated as problems with his video were the same damn problems with yours, and worse. There's not enough money in the budget for more glass houses. Quit fucking breaking them!
Well, I'm done with this video.
No final thoughts from Bob? Okay, final thoughts time, ladies. You two really, really need to chill the fuck out. Nudity is a part of art. Fucking deal with it. There are different ways of showing off the human body, the female body especially, and Ben doesn't have to conform to your ideas of how a woman's body, no matter from what show, is depicted. And when you really think about it, here it is you go on saying how Ben has so much disrespect for women when he draws them in this fashion. But when applying that logic, you could say the same thing for all artists mentioned, including the geishas I brought up earlier, since they were the ones who chose the lifestyle they had, and still have to this day. It's clear as fucking day to me that the one with the most disrespect towards women are you two. You want women to be presented in one way that doesn't offend you, that doesn't hurt little Timmy's brain, that isn't appreciative of the way these women look in general, and you're supposed to be representing the opposite, or so you claim. Maybe you two should crawl back to your little Tumblr holes and hide from the nasty nudity outside. Just be careful. There's porn on Tumblr too.
Final thoughts. My god, you two have to be some of the most infuriating people I ever had the displeasure of covering. I'm certain everyone else here agrees. You talked over Ben, took him out of context, contradicted yourselves, contradicted each other, and kept changing what you two believed in, all to make Ben look in the wrong to push your own agenda. I'm not even saying subjectively disagreeing with him is the problem. Your arguments and method of arguing I had a problem with. My advice for you is a simple one. Either change the format in which you do commentaries, or continue looking like dishonest, disingenuous people who have no idea how to structure a goddamn video. And while this is more of a personal quarrel for you two, lighten up, because your uptightness makes everyone else angry.
Final thoughts. I'm gonna go draw some boobs while being naked and getting pounded hard in